Oh my god, hey! I am going to be reviewing all 8 shows from MTFest UK, which is a festival of new musical theatre writing curated by Paul Taylor Mills in conjunction with the Other Palace Theatre. Oh. Show number 5 was But I'm a Cheerleader. MTFest, but I'm a cheerleader. This show definitely had the most hype going into it, for one reason and one reason alone. Carrie Fletcher was in the cast. And that sent the internet into a frenzy, trying to book tickets. I think that worked in the show's favour, because not only were Jamie Muscato and Carrie Fletcher great in it, but the vibe is very similar to Heathers. It's another pre-2000s teen movie that has been adapted into a musical. It's very much an emerging genre at the moment in new musicals. These teen high school musicals, whether they are adapted from a film, think Legally Blonde, Mean Girls, Heathers. We've got Clueless that's going to be happening soon. And you've also got a bunch of musicals, not based on films, but also set in high school, similar things. I'm thinking Be More Chill, even Dear Evan Hansen. So this kind of a show is very in right now. I think it's getting more young people more enthusiastic and excited about actually going to the theatre rather than just watching it through bootlegs online. Which is a great thing. I'm all about young people feeling empowered to go out and go to the theatre and get excited about live theatre. I think that's an amazing thing. So, this show. It's sort of just predictably fantastic, really. The songs are really well written, the characters are all really well developed. The cast was unanimously really strong. It was definitely the biggest of any of the cast for the MTFest shows. They could not fit on the little stage, there were so many of them. Matt Henry played the guidance counsellor who was originally played by RuPaul in the movie in the 90s. Bronté Barbé was the lead. She was amazing, she was incredible. I'd already loved her performance in Nerds earlier in the week, and she was really great in this. Carrie Fletcher was fantastic as Graham, slightly Veronica Sawyer, Wednesday Addams-esque, but still something a little bit different for her. The song that she got to sing in this was, if possible, even more belty than some of the stuff in Heathers. Luke Bayer was around from Everyone's Talking About Jamie. Ben Forster was in it as well. Jodie Jacobs. Jodie Jacobs. Jodie Jacobs was fantastic. I think she was a later addition to this because they only tweeted about it afterwards and her name wasn't included in the original release of the cast. But she was so good. She played the main... I should tell you about the plot. I'm rambling. So, it's based on this movie where a popular girl who's a cheerleader, she's got a boyfriend, her friends and parents sort of come together to tell her that they suspect she's a lesbian, which is something that has never entered her head. And they send her off to a conversion camp, a sort of pray the gay away experience type place, which is run in this show by Jodie Jacobs, who is hysterically funny and just pitch perfect as this character. When Mean Girls comes over, Jodie Jacobs should definitely be Mrs. George / Miss Norbury / Katie's mum, because she's fantastic. Jamie Muscato plays the boyfriend and the gay son of Jodie Jacobs' character, and he's brilliant and convincing in both. He does like douchey jock / effeminate gay son very well. All of the adolescent gay characters at the conversion camp are all played really, really well. A lot of them are still students at drama school, and they were just brilliant. One in particular I want to name. Connor Lewis played Dolph and sang a gorgeous song. He plays a character who is a wrestler, and he sang a song about how he was wrestling, but also wrestling with his insecurity about his sexuality, and it was just this lovely song, and he sang the hell out of it, and it was a really beautiful performance. You have to be really careful with a plot like this as well, that you are absolutely going to slam the idea of a conversion camp, and a lot of that falls to Carrie Fletcher's character admonishing the idea that they could repent, that they could change anything about themselves, and there's these uplifting themes that come into it towards the end of Act 1. I'm sure as it goes into Act 2, even more of that idea, and a lot of characters will be redeemed. One of the writers spoke about it at the beginning and said what it was making fun of was these uber-conservatives, and it's mocking them for their ideas that this could actually work. And so every time you've got one of those characters in the show, they are played as this comedic sort of grotesque, really. All of the music is great. It definitely has its own sound and its own style. It's got a lot of bops in it. I could see myself listening to it on a treadmill. I have one criticism, and this was it. During either the first or the second number, they were telling her that they thought she was a lesbian, and she had this throwaway line. She said, "But I'm a cheerleader," and then they kept on singing. And where you've got any musical based on a film, I always think the title, the sort of roll credits moment, should be set up a little bit better than that. So I'd have loved to have seen a "But I'm a Cheerleader" song, especially in those moments in Act 1 where she seemed to be wrestling with the idea of whether or not she was actually a lesbian and sort of coming to terms with it herself. I mean, what do I know? I don't know. I really have nothing bad to say about this show. It doesn't cover a huge amount of new ground in musical theatre because it is very much just another like your Heathers, like your Mean Girls. What this does, which I really love, and which is, I think, really important, is it has gay characters and it addresses this whole thing not as a subplot and not incidentally. It is very much the focus of the show is about these gay adolescent characters and confronting that issue. If you're thinking about lesbianism, there's like Fun Home and now The Prom and characters in the background in falsettos and Rent, and I think that's it. But no, this is a great show, and it seems pretty ready to just open, whether it's going to do the usual of Broadway first and then over to the West End. I'm just excited to go and see it again, and I hope they keep as much of that casting as possible because they were all fantastic. Or a whole new host of drama school people for us to get all excited about. Yeah, brand new talents that we don't know that we're obsessed with yet. Even better. And Jodie Jacobs. My God. Thank you for watching my review of this new musical at MTFest. If you enjoyed this video and want to see me doing more videos, reviewing shows, backstage at shows that I'm doing, singing things, being generally strange, then feel free to like, share and subscribe and just validate me.